So basically there are two ways. The first way from my experience would be a survival mission on Saturn, which is this mission here. And to be honest, you can play this mission alone in solo mode, or you can play with other people if you want. But in my humble opinion, I find it better to play solo so I can also pause the game whenever I want to. As well as other people might not want to stay as long as you want to stay here. Because also this mission gets a bit hard when it comes to enemy after 50 minutes. I also strongly advise that I would have some kind of a resource booster so you can have more plastids per mission. From my experience, the average plastids I would get from this mission will be around 600 to 800 without a booster. And in this way of getting plastids, you are mostly relying on killing enemies, as well as you might find some plastids like this around so you can just break it and take the plastids. And I did around 5 minutes of survival in this mission, and I already got 980 plastids, and that's not a steel path. So keeping in mind that I have a booster, you might want to cut this number roughly in half, so you would get roughly around 500 to 600. And of course, if you want more drops, you'll probably go for steel path because you have 20% more resource drop chance, which is usually what I do. And with a resource booster, you probably could get somewhere from 1200 to 1600 if you have a booster, and that's in roughly 5 to 10 minutes, including you killing enemies and running around the map collecting resources. And of course, the second way of getting plastids is going to Cambion drift here. And of course, you can do this mission in solo mode or with other people, but I would prefer to play it solo so I can gather all the resources myself. And once you're here, you just want to go outside this area and get on your Arcwing. And from here, you want to go to the cave that I'm going to right now, which is this one. And of course, once you're inside the cave, you want to look for things like that, and you should just go ahead and break it. As well as those, which basically have a chance of dropping plastids if you break them. So what you want to do is just run around and break all of them. And ideally for this farming method, you just want to have a really fast frame so you can move around quickly, and you want to have a gun that breaks things easily without you aiming precisely. Like for example, an Ignis or an Ignis Wraith. But here I forgot to switch my weapon. So there are 2 or 3 caves connected to each other. You want to go through all 3 of them, and once I'm done here, I'll show you the outcome, guys. And as you can see, guys, I made around 558 plastids. And that is with a booster. And the time here is 7 minutes, but I would say the total net time was like 4 minutes. Now, if you ask me about my personal preference, I would definitely go for the survival mission on Saturn. Not just because it has a better drop chance, but also it's not boring. For me, doing it on Deimos and just going around breaking containers is kinda boring. And the only reason I would find the method of going on Deimos worth it is if you really have a good strategy, which is basically having a strategy for the path you're gonna take and you have a really fast frame. That might make it worth it because you would have the outcome of it is the same 500 or 250 for example without a booster for 2 minutes, and could be even less depending on your path and skills. And the reason why it took me around 7 minutes and I only got 500 because I wasn't trying to do a specific path, I was just imitating what people would do regularly, because not everybody has a strategy. So if you don't really have a strategy for Deimos, I would strongly suggest to go on Saturn and either do the normal mission or do the steel path. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.